The Two Villages and the Mountain Pass, a story of conflict resolution. Once upon a time, nestled between towering mountains, there were two villages, Eldervale and Willowbrook. These villages, though separated by a vast mountain pass, shared the same river, which flowed from the highlands, passed through Eldervale, and then meandered down to Willowbrook. For centuries, the river sustained the lives of the villagers, providing water for their crops, animals, and daily needs. For years, Eldervale and Willowbrook lived in peace, helping each other when needed, exchanging goods, and celebrating festivals together. However, as time passed, tensions began to rise between the two villages. Eldervale, being closer to the river's source, had always enjoyed a steady supply of water. But due to changes in the climate, the flow of water had begun to dwindle, leading to dry seasons that affected both villages. The people of Willowbrook, who were downstream, suffered the most. Their crops withered, and their wells began to run dry. As the situation worsened, they noticed that Eldervale was still enjoying a relatively good supply of water. Suspicion grew, and soon the people of Willowbrook believed that Eldervale was intentionally diverting the river's water, leaving them with barely enough to survive. Feeling wronged, the leaders of Willowbrook sent a delegation to Eldervale, demanding that they stop hoarding the water. The people of Eldervale were taken aback by the accusation. They denied any wrongdoing and insisted that the river's reduced flow was due to natural causes. The meeting ended in anger, with both sides refusing to see the other's perspective. Weeks passed, and the situation only grew worse. The people of Willowbrook, desperate for water, began blocking the trade routes between the two villages. In response, Eldervale cut off all exchanges, leading to further animosity. The once friendly neighbors were now on the brink of war. In the midst of this escalating conflict, a wise elder from Eldervale named Mara decided that something had to be done. She had lived long enough to remember the days of peace and unity between the villages, and she believed that this dispute could be resolved without violence. Mara approached Eldervale's council and convinced them to send a mediator to Willowbrook, a gesture of goodwill to try and find a solution. At the same time, a young woman named Leora from Willowbrook, who had grown weary of the hostility, approached her village's leaders with a similar plea for peace. She argued that instead of fueling the flames of anger, they should seek a peaceful resolution. After much debate, both villages agreed to a meeting in the mountain pass that connected them, a neutral ground. The day of the meeting arrived. Mara from Eldervale and Leora from Willowbrook led their respective delegations, and they met at the heart of the mountain pass. The air was tense, and suspicion lingered in the eyes of both sides. Mara was the first to speak. She addressed the villagers of Willowbrook with sincerity, acknowledging their suffering and stating that Eldervale had no desire to see them harmed. She proposed that they work together to investigate the cause of the river's dwindling flow and find a solution that would benefit both villages. Leora, seeing Mara's genuine offer of peace, responded with an open heart. She explained the desperation of her people and expressed hope that by working together, they could restore balance to the river. The leaders of both villages agreed to send a team of elders and young villagers up the mountain to investigate the river's source. For days, the team traveled upstream, studying the river and its surrounding environment. Eventually, they discovered that a natural dam made of fallen trees and rocks had formed upstream, blocking a significant portion of the river's flow. The discovery shocked both sides. It became clear that the river's reduced flow was not the result of human interference, but of nature itself. Together, the villagers worked to clear the dam, and soon, the river's flow was restored to its former strength. Upon returning to their villages, the team shared their findings. Both Eldervale and Willowbrook realized how close they had come to letting their mistrust destroy the harmony that had existed for generations. In the weeks that followed, they repaired not only the physical damages caused by the conflict, but also the emotional and social rifts. To ensure such a dispute never arose again, the two villages established a council of representatives from both sides who would meet regularly to discuss any issues affecting the river or their shared resources. They also created a festival to celebrate the unity of Eldervale and Willowbrook, reminding future generations of the importance of cooperation and understanding. Years later, when Mara and Leora had both passed on, their story became a legend, a tale of two women who helped resolve a conflict through wisdom, empathy, and cooperation. The river continued to flow between Elder Vale and Willowbrook, not as a symbol of division, but as a reminder of the power of working together to solve problems. And so, the two villages lived in peace once more, united by the river that flowed between them, and by the bond of mutual respect and understanding they had forged.